What's up, guys? Welcome to the In the Blind podcast. Today we have our good buddy Chase Rice on. Got a really cool story, lots of depth to it. We really appreciate you coming on to give us some insight and
man.
let us know a little bit about your journey.
Yeah, I've known Eric for a long time, so we talked about doing this a long time ago, and now I've finally been home for a few weeks, so this is perfect. I did Will Bartholomew?
Yeah.
I did the D1 deal earlier, so I'm
Nice.
like, I guess today I'm just talking about
Dude,
myself a
doing
lot.
the
It's
podcast
podcast
guy.
day.
Yeah, it's a podcast, and none of it was set up by my publicist, so I'm like, shit, why am I paying all this money again?
Yeah, you
I
do it
can
on
do
your
this
own.
shit on my
I'm
own.
gonna start doing this shit myself.
Yeah.
Will was in last night. I was
yeah,
working
he was
the show.
out.
So when he told me you were doing his, I was like, bro, he was ripped at like midnight last night.
He texted me at like, I don't know, 7:30, whatever this morning, and just said, ouch.
Yeah,
I was here. I ordered drinks from right there at that bar on Friday, and I haven't been out in Nashville gone out in 8 months. Like that's not what I'm doing these days.
Right.
Holy hell.
Oh, bro, it's
It's the setting for me. Like if
Right.
I'm in a troubadour setting and they have a huge party going on, like you can't be the guy that's just blacked out of your mind. Otherwise
Right.
you stand out.
you stand out.
Yeah.
Here, you
Everyone's
have to
like-
be that guy to
It
feel
is.
normal.
If you're here
Yes.
and you're not fucked up,
Oh,
you stand
man.
out.
Saturday was a real tough day for me. I'm almost 40, so
Hey, it happens.
Yeah, bro, I'm right there with you. I'm 45, and right now my hangovers last 3 days. It's not
Yeah.
1 day anymore. It's 3 days, and then
Yeah.
the anxiety. I feel like I'm in fucking trouble.
Yeah.
I'm like, what did I do? Like I'm adult. Like
Yeah.
I live on my own.
We'll talk more about that once we start getting into the psilocybin, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's that anxiety and shame and all that creeps in. You're just like, I didn't even fucking do anything wrong.
Yeah. Like what the fuck? I had a blast.
I had a great time and I laughed a lot with some friends, watched
Yep.
the sunrise, but I went home and
Yeah.
got 3-4 hours of sleep. But
It's like your subconscious is in there, like churning, like trying
Yeah.
to make you feel guilty.
man,
for that
years
shit.
of
yeah.
doing wrong, and you're like,
Yeah.
but this time I didn't. Why do
Yeah.
I feel so bad?
And for me, it probably has to do with all the nights that I was that fucked up and did something wrong.
Yeah, you
so
just-
now my body just assumes, or my brain, that I'm.
What are you up to tonight, asshole?
Assumes that you did something real stupid.
How could I not?
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. It's the chemical makeup of the brain is a pretty crazy science in itself.
Yeah.
So I mean, the way
It's true.
alcohol affects the brain. I mean, it's just a chemical reaction
Yeah.
we're just suffering through. It sucks.
And I'm learning, I'm learning how to live a different way. We talked about this a long time, but shrooms, psilocybin, that's something that I was going to go to DMT down in El Salvador with a group of guys and just didn't feel right about it.
Right.
And I was just talking to this lady that Zach Brown got me in touch with. And we were setting up my shroom journey, psilocybin, and she didn't talk me out of it, but she was like, there's a chance you get a lot of information and you don't know what to do with it.
Right.
Because you get down there, you're in a healthy place and all that, but then you get all this information wherever that takes you, and what do you do with that?
Right.
And with her, it was like, I know I'm going to get a lot of information from our shroom day, our journey day, and but I'll have her for a while after
Right.
to break it down and figure out what that is. So I'm learning how to adjust from post that. I did that like 3 weeks ago. So
That's very cool. I mean, I haven't ever I'm a recreational drug taker, so
Yeah.
I've never thought about taking it with somebody who actually is like keeping me from doing something stupid.
yeah,
And then helping me understand what I'm processing. That's actually really interesting. I love shrooms. I don't drink much anymore because of shrooms. If I go out,
awesome.
I'd much rather microdose and just laugh my ass off and
Yeah.
have a great time and wake up the next day and feel normal and get back to life.
I thought it was going to be for me. I thought it was going to be a big, I didn't know, but I've heard a lot of times, you don't drink ever again, stuff like that. I wasn't drinking that much anyway. And when I drink, I get after it.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing flipped yeah, drinking, I can have some beers. Friday night, I absolutely got after it. What I'm trying to navigate through is the shame element of my life. I've lived in shame for the better part of my life.
Right.
And a lot of that was, I don't know where that came from, but it's a horrible place to live.
Yeah.
Like when you're just living in and a lot of it's, you should feel guilty about a lot of the dumb decisions that I've made. I've been an asshole to a lot of people. I've used people. So that gets in there, and you just start telling yourself over and over, you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit, you're a piece of shit. And then you just start believing what you're saying. This day changed everything for me because it was like I was with all that shame and guilt and negative self-talk, and it was all there. And a lot of stuff from childhood that I had no control over.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was all there, the shame and all that, but for the first time in my life, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
It was like, I embraced it embraced me, we were becoming buddies.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the fuck to live with that.
Yeah.
Still, I'm like, this is new. I'm also scared of success. I'm like scared if I get too big and too famous, all of a sudden everybody's going to know everything about you that you've ever done wrong. At the end of the day, who gives a fuck?
Yeah,
Right.
nobody.
We all fuck up. I've done a lot of really dumb shit.
Human, man.
Yeah, I've taken it too far and done really dumb shit.
Yeah, same here.
But and then you get in the spotlight and you start fearing people knowing your darkness and
because the more your fame rises,
man,
the more
at the
people
end
get a
of the
glimpse
day,
of that.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm just tired of living scared like that and living in shame. It's like I'll openly tell you I'm a fucked up human being. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't even say that's the right self-talk though. It's like it's not that you're a fucked up human being. You just made some really bad decisions.
Yeah, and I think we're all broken people. We all we're sinful people, and
Yeah.
a lot of people, especially like I know me, growing up in the church. My dad was a music pastor. My grandfather was a preacher. Like I felt like I had to check all these boxes.
Yeah.
And if I messed up or screwed up, my grandfather got mad at me. My grandma would discipline me. My dad was pissed. I started kind of compartmentalizing and tucking all those little things away. So then I get into a situation where I have to make that decision that I made and I fucked it up the first time, and I'm like, oh, am I going to screw this up again? And is my family going to be pissed at me, or my friends going to be pissed? So you start living, like you said, in fear, and you start creating all these coping mechanisms to keep yourself somewhat comfortable. And I think we turn ourselves into these balls of depression and anxiety because you're trying to run away from the things that you've done that are now plaguing your mind. And I mean, I've even dealt with it on stage. Like, just like you look out and you see somebody that, you know, something happened with a long time ago, or you see a business person or an associate or someone, it can totally change your mood, can totally fuck up the show.
Yeah.
And for me, like when I started with mushrooms, I think I told you this, I felt like you're looking in the mirror and you're seeing all the parts of yourself that you've been running from, or the parts that you don't even know you hate about yourself. And like you said, now you become buddies with that and you embrace that version of yourself.
Yeah.
And it opens up incredible doors emotionally, psychologically. I don't know. I think I told you this also. Like when you take a big dose of DMT, psilocybin, LSD, and I've explained this to a few people, and I've had somebody that's like super, you know, informed in the space being like, that's not totally how it works. But they basically said, imagine your brain is a ski slope at the end of the day, and there's thousands of ruts and tracks from other people. Psilocybin, LSD, it's like a fresh coat of snow. Like it's the snow, the groomer goes down the mountain and it's perfect. So now you have a clean slate.
Yeah.
But you're going to start to create new ruts and you're going to screw it up. So now you need to do the homework, like you were talking about after the fact, to make sure that you don't get pulled right back into that same rut.
Yeah.
Because then you'll be like, oh, it didn't work. No, that was my own dumbass that chose to make the exact same stupid decision I made the first time. I didn't learn from my mistakes. So,
which is also human.
Exactly.
I found through the post trip, it's like, the thought of being perfect ain't gonna happen. Dude, what it was a lot easier for even a few weeks for all the stuff that I struggle with, and then all of a sudden, boom, you make the one bad decision. You're like, fuck, it didn't fix me.
right.
You're also human still, man.
Yeah.
And she talks to me a lot about Grace, the lady that I've been seeing. But I do know one thing: if I slip up and make the same mistake, for me, women's always been a struggle for me. And the one thing that I learned in this trip, and I'm struggling to even figure out what I should and shouldn't talk about. But at the end of the day, if you're talking about all the good stuff, I just feel like there's nothing bad that can come out of that.
I agree.
So for me, it was like I'd never figured out how to love a woman. I still don't, you know, it's tough for a guy in general. But
They're very complicated creatures.
Yeah, very complicated. But the 4 pillars for me that showed up when I was going through all this was like, how do you love a woman? How do you love a woman? It should be basic knowledge, but it's not. It wasn't for me. And it was respect, protect, encourage, and serve. Those were the 4 things that popped up. And for me, if you're hitting all those, you're loving a woman. And I've already fucked that up. but I'm trying not to. I'm trying to hit all those things when it's, and I'm not talking about love a woman and like you meet one and you fall in love,
Right.
like just anybody in general. If you could,
just
if
the
you
right
use
way
those
to,
4 pillars, to me, that's falling into the category of you're just loving a person.
Absolutely.
So that was something that popped up for me, where I was just like, well, this is different, and I'm still having to learn how to do that, because I still want to go back to the old ways of taking anybody home and just having your way with them and doing your thing. Like that's, and people use each other sexually all the time.
Yes.
We use each other. But I'm also at a point in my life where I'm like, I don't necessarily want to do that the rest of my life anymore. I want to find somebody I actually love and create a family and move forward, to establish the one real big goal that I have left in life, which is to be a dad and a husband.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't want to wake up and be 60 years old and not have anything to show for
Still
it.
doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, I spent my whole career in the bar business, DJing and bartending, and you know, not a celebrity, but like we have a lot of access to women. You know, there's always girls in the DJ booth. There's always girls trying to hook up with the bartenders and whatnot. And where I fell into that, ladies man, and you get to a point where, for me, and it took me a while. It took me meeting my wife. It was very empty. I realized once I met my wife that the life I'd been living was really empty. Like I had a lot of fun times in the moments, but like there was no weight. Like I don't have a child. I don't have, anything very important in my life. It's all these frivolous relationships that don't really mean shit and disappear like this. And for me, it's like I've said a million times, like my wife made me a better person. Like the moment I met her, almost like I used to recognize every hot chick that walked by, and then all of a sudden it was like I don't even see them anymore. Like this is wild. And like
I definitely still see him.
For somebody like
I do.
Yeah. I mean, but it changed drastically. But it took me 40 years. 38 years to get to that place. So I mean, it's not easy, man. I think anybody who's working to be better and taking the right steps, or taking steps to be better, that's being human, being a good human, and doing the right thing. And
I just want to.
it's just hard.
I was hoping it'd be something that was just like, all right, I'm fixed now.
Yeah.
Honestly, the new slopes, the new snow on the slopes, that for about 2 weeks, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm a perfect human being. And then all of a sudden,
and then you start
snowballing. You're like, oh shit, nope.
Yeah. And
I kind of old friends still there, but
I use those trips as like maintenance type things.
Yeah.
So like once I start to feel it coming back or anxiety creeping in, it's like, hey, maybe I need to revisit this again. And that usually helps me. And then a few times I've done it where I kind of felt the same, like 10 days, feeling really good, and the dopamine levels start to even back out, and you're like, man, I want to feel that again.
Yeah.
And I found that if you do like a massive dose, it lasts a little bit longer, but then there's also a lot more rebalancing of that dopamine and serotonin and all that stuff after the fact.
I'm staying away from it for a while just to try to figure out how to live again, and just on this new way of life that I'm trying to live. And it's, at the end of the day, who knows if we'll ever figure it out. Like you said, we're broken people.
But I mean, even if I think even hearing you talk, it's different than I've ever heard you talk.
Right.
I mean, like you seem to be very clear-headed and kind of knowing what it is that you want. Now it's just, it seems like you're just figuring out how to get there. And you seemed a lot more healthy in the approach that you're taking, which to me is just cool to see.
And the biggest thing for me, like I said, was all based around fear and shame.
Yeah.
Like I was afraid to have the amount of success that I wouldn't even say I deserved. But the amount of success that like I could go get, I was afraid to go get real success and like I'm not in arenas yet. Like music obviously has to be great to get to that level. You just got to be really good at what we do. But I also think there's some self-sabotaging things you can do to get in the way of yourself to stop that success because you're so afraid of it. And what are people going to find out about me? Well, here's the deal. I'm a really fucked up person when I want to be.
Right.
Yeah.
But deep down, if you actually have the conversation with me and understand I was molested when I was a little kid. That's the first time I've ever said that in public. And I'm okay with saying that. Yeah. Because I went through that and relived it. I'm like, man, I was just a kid.
Yeah.
I had nothing to do with that. And it was really fucking sad that happened to me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't affect
Right.
me. It doesn't define who I am now.
Right.
No.
If I could be a grown up and walk in and grab that kid that was me, first of all, knock the fuck out of the person who did it, get them out of the room and hug me and be like, man, that's okay. You did nothing wrong. I love you anyway.
Yeah.
And that's what I've learned. And that would shock a lot of people. Probably will shock a lot of people that happened to me. But I don't think so. The more I talk about that with friends, they're like, oh shit, yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing that you can that you're in a place where you can say that and share that, because it just shows where you're at as a person.
Yeah.
When it's a big part of healing from it, man. Like being able to talk about it. I mean, and that ain't some easy stuff to fucking talk about, you know. Like
it isn't when you're living in the shame and the fear of, oh my God, what if somebody finds that out? Well, guess what? I just ratted myself out.
Yeah.
yeah,
The key to me being able to even talk about it was realizing that I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
right.
I was a kid. And that's something that I know for sure. The coolest part about that, even moving forward, where like, if I ever have kids, they're not gonna have to wonder about that. They're not. They're gonna hear everything, all of my experience.
Yeah.
So they can make better choices and not even better choices, make better choices, but also know, hey, dude,
Yeah.
daughter, whatever, boy, whatever, you can come to me with anything, and I got you. And I'm not gonna be mad at you.
Yeah.
Just tell me everything. Like, don't feel like you have to hide things from me. Because when you start hiding shit, man, it's like that's when you start.
Well, you weave a sticky web at that point. It's like you start lying, you start trying to
They pile up fast.
manipulate the truth, and that gets to the point where you don't even know what lies you told, and then you're catching yourself in your own lies.
You don't even know what to believe in.
Yeah.
anymore.
It's funny you were saying that. Like, I just had a conversation with my oldest son, Camden, the other night. He'd asked me a question, like a really deep question, kind of caught me off guard, and I was like, dang, you're 12 years old asking me this kind of stuff. And I thought about it. I was like, went back to my own childhood. I was like, man, I don't know if this is like an appropriate thing for me to be talking about with my 12-year-old. But I thought back to, like, I had an amazing father, like, but he tried to protect me so much that I didn't have a clue what was going on, whether it was their relationship, whether it was family drama, church drama. So I was just sheltered from all of that. And then once I got into the real world or got into high school and like shit started hitting the fan with the family and church, like it hit me like a ton of bricks, and I didn't know how to handle it, didn't know how to deal with it. So like for me, I'm trying to tell Camden everything I possibly can and share my heart, share my struggles, share the deepest stuff that I've never told anybody. And it's changed my relationship with him to where, like, if he hears anything with his friends, whether it's about drugs, alcohol, sex, doesn't matter, he'll come straight to me. Whereas I would have never gone to my dad and asked him a single question, because I'd be like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble. He's going to judge me.
Drugs.
Yeah. Then I'm going to be locked in my room, grounded and screwed. And I think I credit the mushrooms, to be honest, with clearing my mind enough to know what was healthy when I was a kid, what was unhealthy, what was my fault, what was not my fault. Then I realized our parents are just flying by the seat of their pants, just like we are. And they had no clue, and we looked at them like they knew everything. And they didn't.
They had the disadvantage of that's just the way it was back then.
Right.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that shit.
Yeah, they
And my dad, when he grew up, you know, I never got to talk too much about his childhood because he died when I was 22. But I would assume he didn't have anybody to go to about anything that he was feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful now to be 40 years old and have people and friends I can talk to about this stuff. Because for years, I've kept everything inside and didn't want anyone to know if I was struggling with something or if I was nervous or ashamed or anxious. Like I felt like from the outside looking at everybody, I had to keep it together, and I couldn't, open up to anybody because they'd think less of me.
Yeah.
And then they think less of my music, and then less of whatever else I'm doing. And it's trickled down to even production work for me. It's like, I'm such a perfectionist because I'm so afraid of what the listener is going to say. And I don't know if I can handle seeing a comment on Instagram, oh, this mix is shit, or what happened to your low end? This is trash. I'm like, nobody fucking cares. But I'm obsessive about it. And I think it comes from that. It's like needing to please people.
Yeah.
Which is
Absolutely.
it's a sad
we're
thing.
in that world too. If there's an artist that says he doesn't care, he's probably lying.
Yeah.
Or she's probably lying.
I wish I didn't, but
it's changed my music. This whole mindset has changed, and this is the beginning of that for me. Like I just want to be better. I want my 40. I'm about 39. I'm about to turn 40 in September. I want my 40s to be about health and wealth. Like, I want to get healthy. First of all, I'm eating healthy. I'm putting right stuff in my body. I'm not drinking as much, even though I still do like it sometimes. And wealth. Like, I want to create wealth for myself, not just get loaded rich money, but I want to create something that I can look back on and it wasn't just for me, and I can hand it down to other people
Yeah.
and create a life that I look back when, you know, if God willing, you get to 80 years
Yeah.
old, you're like, damn, that was a wild ride. And look at everything I've
Yeah, look at the legacy that you can leave now, as opposed to
I
just
changed
different
generations,
Yes.
you know, of my family, not just my life.
Yeah.
That's huge. That's what it's really all about too. I mean, you don't get to take anything with you, bro. It's the impact you make on the people you care about and the legacy. That's the legacy you leave, you know. It's
What have you noticed musically? I mean, I know it's been 3 weeks, but like, what have you noticed is in the writing process? Have you written it all, or like
I wrote the day of my trip. Didn't mean to.
right?
But I noticed that Eldora, which is the record we put out in September, and a lot of cowboys and Go Down Singing, my last 2 records and 3, including Eldora, they got a lot of shame in them. They just got a sadness in them.
Yeah.
That I've carried for a while.
Yeah, I hear that when I listen to it.
Yeah, and Eldora has a really good amount of that, but I don't know, Eldora's incredible. But I noticed that moving forward, I just have a clearer path of like, I want to have an album which will be Appalachia following Eldora.
Right.
Have written a little bit for it, wrote that day.
Right.
I wrote a song called Letter to Eldora, which is funny because I haven't even put out Eldora yet, but it's really a letter to Shame. That just has the conversation with Shame. It's like, hello, Shame.
That's
It's
really
good to see you, old friend. Spend some time. How you been? Have you talked to guilt or lust or greed? I know we used to run this town, but I ain't seen them in a minute.
Wow.
And then it says, there's light in the road that leads to home. There's hope in the not knowing where you're going. And looking back, the only thing I see is a man in the mirror looking lost as me. So I'll shake your hand, look you in the eye, bid you farewell, buddy, till next time. Won't you come on back if you ever need a place to park? Turns out there's life in the dark.
oh, that's great.
And it's not light in the dark. There's life in the dark.
Right,
I
yeah.
learned in the darkness, in the sadness, in the shame, in the fear, that there's life in that. Like, just enjoy it. Like, embrace it, and it has no more power.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you're in the dark, but you're not afraid anymore.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Hell yeah,
But anyway,
awesome.
that's what I noticed moving forward was the Appalachia record. I would be willing to bet is going to be almost a celebration record as opposed to like an album of hope, as opposed to an album of the last 3 were kind of
Yeah.
like this guy's working through some
Right.
shit.
I think it's cool because, like, I mean, I've listened to your records since the beginning. I mean, we were out on the road together right after you came to Nashville, I think, we played a bunch of shows, like a year.
A lot. Yeah.
And even then, listening to your music, I feel like it was just a direct reflection of what you were living and what you were going through in that stage of life. And then you're next, you have six now?
Probably six
or 7?
5 or 6. Like even the bro country era, like I look back on that and I'm like,
Still tells a story.
kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
We were partying.
Yeah,
It's a
exactly.
party album. Like that makes perfect sense.
And I think that's cool for someone to be able to go through your whole discography and really get a glimpse into who you are as a person, who you were back then, and the journey you've been on to get to where you're at now, which for me like makes me giddy for you. I'm just excited. Just you seem so
and maybe
like, you know exactly what you want, it seems like, at the moment.
Yeah.
And whether you do or don't, like, just you're giving off that energy, which is cool to me.
It's just an uncomfortable way to live for me because I've never done it.
Yeah.
I've never lived. And then every day you're like, man, when's that going to start taking back over again?
It seems a little bit like, and you guys can enlighten me, I may be completely wrong, but it's in the beginning of your artist careers, it seems like you make music for everyone else, and then later in your career, as you develop, you start making music for yourself.
I think there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
I mean, because most people's story, I mean, everybody kind of, the way their music develops, to me, it seems that way, unless you're just completely hoed out to your, you know, whatever's commercial.
I mean, I'll say this, I don't want to talk too much about us, but like at the beginning of our career, like we made a record with Robert Ellis Orrell, who discovered Taylor, and a guy named Jeff Copeland. And their goal was to make this first record sound like a new modern day Young Eagles. So they're trying to get us to write songs that were like way more mature than we were at that point. And like when we put it out, people were like, these kids are 21, 22 years old. Like, how can they write songs about shit they've never even experienced? And now looking back on that, I agree. Like, I wish our career, if you like, it's almost the opposite. Like, I listen to our stuff and I'm like, okay, now I think they know who they are. But back at the beginning, it just seemed like we were chasing fads or imposters almost.
I was
And
definitely chasing it in the beginning.
yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think you have to, because you're young, wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, and you're like, I will do whatever it takes to get a song on the radio.
If you're
Yeah.
not chasing it, like Zach Bryan, I don't feel like he's ever chased anything. He
Yeah.
may, in his mind, he may disagree, but looking at him, I'm like, God dang, how do you have it figured out so well, so young?
It's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't realize he wrote all those songs himself on like his first record too.
Maybe he's just the next level guy.
And I'm
I
like,
think
yeah,
he
that's-
is. I mean, but
And maybe he's an anomaly also, to where just what he wanted to do and how he was doing it just worked perfectly
Worked at
this
the
way,
time,
and he's
yeah.
got this career that just looks like he's just
Yeah.
made it happen on his terms the whole time, which, I mean, I really think he has.
Yeah.
But
He
at
has.
the same time,
Good
it's
work, dude.
It's such an odd thing.
And being very human along the way. Like having a lot of fucking slip ups and dumb shit happen and
Yeah.
drama, you know, out there or whatnot, saying crazy shit on social media, but like it's just like he's so genuine. Like people don't really judge him for that.
Yeah.
You know, like he just gets
Yeah,
away
and
with it.
I
And-
think there's plenty of people that go after him, but
Yeah.
I mean,
overall,
and
I
I
think he's
we
done
know
pretty damn well with it.
those kind of people are.
And it's
Yeah,
and it's
you're
cool.
never gonna please those people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those people are just unhappy with themselves. and-
Keyboard
Exactly.
warriors.
I mean,
and
shit,
shit.
I get to that place sometimes where I'm just
Yeah.
down in the dumps and pissed that something I put out didn't work, and
Yeah.
I just want to hate on somebody else. And I'm
Yep.
like, shut up, Eric. Like, you can control yourself, and that is it. Don't worry about anybody else. Be happy for their success. They're making it work.
That's one thing I talked to Will about earlier in the podcast at D1 was I realized when I got hurt in football, I kind of isolated. I wasn't really part of the team. I was rehabbing, trying to
it's
get back
tough.
for the next year. But the last thing that I wanted was to help out Bruce or Mark or Quan or any of the other guys.
Right.
Because what if I helped them become too good? Then I couldn't
Right.
get my starting job
Yeah.
back. Okay, and that actually is what happened. And I didn't help them, and we weren't a very good team that
Yeah.
year. Me not playing that year hurt our team because I was a good player.
Yeah.
The next year, they were good enough. I couldn't take any credit for that because they just got better. And I was still just bitter. Like, imagine if that whole year I would have taken the year to be in the meeting rooms. First of all, I would have felt better because I would have still felt like I was part of it, even though I couldn't
Right.
play. I would have helped make the team better because I was helping make them better. I would be better because I was making other people better and learning and learning shit
Growing,
that I
yeah.
wouldn't have learned. I was growing.
Yeah.
Would have been. And everything would have been better. Instead, I was selfish as shit and wanted to make sure they didn't get my starting job back. And look what happened.
Yeah.
They got my starting job back. And
Yeah.
I was bitter for it.
right.
And if you just try to make everybody around you better, and in our world, that happens every day.
Yeah.
Who's the new hot artist? Who's the new
Yeah.
young guy? What's happening here? Who has more success? Luke Combs went to my high school, and if you want to look at on paper the success, I don't touch him.
Right.
I have two ways to go about that. I can be jealous as fuck, sit here and say, God dang it, he's younger than me, he shouldn't have as much success as me, yada, yada, yada. Or I can sit there and say, I played football in high school, he sang his ass off and worked at his craft.
Yeah.
Naturally, he's just got an unbelievable voice.
Right.
Yeah.
If I stack all the compliments and just say, you know what, Luke, you're badass and I'm really fucking happy for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, everything's good.
Positive.
Everything
All positive.
good comes
Yeah.
out
Yeah,
of that.
because those negative feelings towards him are not doing a damn thing to him. It's only
And
you.
they're killing me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've tried to, over the years, especially probably earlier in my career, I was competitive and tried to
Yeah.
make sure you're not going to stop anybody else's
No.
success. You're just going to kill your own.
Yeah.
So now it's just like, I hope you blow the fuck up because that
Yeah.
doesn't affect me. That's just
Absolutely.
good for you, man.
Yeah.
And if I just try to keep that positive mindset, it's like I'm only going to be better.
100%. I always tell the people who work for me, and even like my close friends, anybody like I kind of counsel or mentor or, you know, care about and talk to on a personal level, it's like, who pays for your stress and anguish, man? Like, you're the only one.
You do, yeah. That's it.
So why? Why would you feed into that? Why would you participate in it at all?
It's human nature.
It's, and it is 1,000%.
That's why I try not to beat myself up over
Yeah.
the jealousy feelings that will pop up because that will pop up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But talk to it.
Yeah.
Okay, what is this about? At the end of the day, I'll keep using Luke as an example because we went to the same high school. It's like he's done a huge, huge thing for our hometown and our school, and I'm happy as shit for him.
Absolutely.
And that's
Yeah.
awesome. It's really, really cool for our high school to have Luke Combs, me, Ben Johnson, the new head coach
Yeah.
of the Bears, Caleb Presley from Barstool Sports. Now he's got his own thing going. It's like,
That's
hell
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's celebrate each other.
Did Rob
That's
go
awesome.
to that? His guitar player, Luke.
I
No,
don't,
he's from the.
He's from Gastonia.
Oh, Gaston.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Yeah.
He's still got a couple high school buddies, I think, that are in his
Part of his
crew
team,
and
yeah.
hanging out, whatever
Yeah.
they do. Or they might work for him. I didn't
Yeah.
get a beat on what they do, but yeah.
Nice. I want to ask you a few questions about kind of the earlier part of your career. I mean, I've known you since then.
Yeah, way before.
Chat a little bit about Survivor and how was that? I know a lot of people are surprised. Some people followed your whole thing on that, and then you tell some
Yeah.
people that, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know he was on there."
On Survivor, yeah. It was awesome, dude. I look back on that whole experience. I was bitter for a while. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a theme. There was a while where in life I was just bitter and hated everything. But looking back, it was a really cool experience. It sucked. I mean, no food for 40 days. I had 6 meals in 40 days, and then every now and then we'd get rice. 32 or 34 pounds I lost.
Wow,
But like I'm going to Denver this week. I'll meet up with my buddy Benry,
that's
who
cool.
was on that season. Kelly
Nice.
Shin, I stay in touch with her. Jane was a girl from our season. Her and I were really close. She just passed away.
Oh wow.
That's one you look at and you're like, damn, I should have done a better job keeping in touch.
Yeah.
You never know. But it was really cool experience. I was looking back, like people say, man, you did great. I thought I did terrible.
Really?
Like I didn't have a whole lot of strategy. It was a thing in my life that showed me how paranoid I can get for sure. Which I had no idea that about myself until after that went on the show. But I was real paranoid.
Yeah.
But why would you not be a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they make it that way.
2 people over there talking on the beach.
Strategizing
You don't think
how to
they're
get
talking about
yeah.
you?
Yeah.
They may not be, but if they are, you better have a plan.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get your ass off the deal.
Right.
So it was a cool experience though.
You were like 1 vote short, right, or something. You came in second, right?
Came in second.
Yeah.
And I was going into the final deal basically with 3 challenges left. It was me, got him Sash, got him Holly, against Fabio.
Yeah.
I screwed up real big by letting everybody know that. The jury included. I was like, yeah, basically it's us 3 versus him.
Huh.
He loses, he's going home. I was just really honest on the
Right.
show.
Yeah.
Like, too honest. No strategy there. That was a dumb move. So now they're naturally going to start pulling for the underdog, which
Right.
is Fabio. And
Right.
Fabio did the most badass thing he could and won 3 in a row all the way to the finals.
Yeah.
Good for him. The dumbest thing he could have done was take me, because I was the only one that had a chance to beat him.
Yeah.
I don't think he thought I had a real good chance, and I'm not sure I did until the final night where we plead our case.
Right.
And I was racking my brain trying to figure out, like, what do I have over him, because he deserves to win.
Yeah.
Overall, he should win. How do I convince these people to make him not win? And I don't know how much CBS showed, but I crushed that part of it. Like,
Yeah.
I pled my case, and I did a really good job of it. They showed some other shit that didn't make it look like that.
Right.
Because I still lost. If I hadn't lost, they would have had to show it all.
For sure.
But the 2 girls that quit, Kelly and Nyanka, their big thing was like, if we quit, can we still vote on the jury?
Huh.
And I think for a while nobody could answer that, and then they finally said yes. So they quit and they could vote on the jury. So they voted for Fabio. So I lost 5-4. Which, no, I don't know why they voted for Fabio. They just kind of. I could say this to their face, like, you just went with the crowd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'll also be the first to say I think he deserved to win.
Yeah.
With the exception of the final pleading our case day, which I
Right.
did a really good job on. Now going to commercial after he'd won, Probst was like, when we get back, we'll explain a new rule change, but if you quit, you can no longer be on the jury and vote. See you
Dang.
in 2 minutes or whatever. And I'm just like, wait, what did he just say? So wait. And then he walked over with a smirk on his face. I said, did you just say
Dang.
if you quit, you can't be on the jury? He said, yep, I'll explain it more here in a minute. I was like, you motherfucker. So I just won 4-3, but now that it doesn't
Right.
count.
That sucks.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's wild. Well, it was fun to watch you on there. I enjoyed it. And
Yeah, it's they do a good job. It's a cool show, man. It's an adventure.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I appreciate about that one. I also did the Bachelor
right.
one episode to promote the song. That's what publicists come on here and
Yeah.
you're getting your world management and says, hey, help promote your song. I'm like, hell yeah, all about it. And then they brought Victoria on the show. That to me is a show that I don't have a lot of respect for.
Right.
I don't have any respect for them bringing me into their bullshit. Like, don't fucking do that to the musician who's just trying to promote their shit. If I could do that show over again, I would have looked at Victoria square in the face when she asked that I set her up for. What happened was she turns a corner. Her and I'd seen each other, and now she's on this date with this guy and now she has to tell him she was on a date with me 2 months ago while he's currently dating 15 other girls. It's like, yeah, you're scared he's going to get mad at you?
Right.
It's a fucked up deal. But,
so they do it just for the ratings and for the drama?
yeah, they just want to create drama. What I should have done looking back is look square at the camera, square at her, and they would have figured out a way to make this good for them. Right. But I don't have respect for that whole situation and them doing that to me anyway, so fuck them. I can say what I want now. They fucked you, he fucked you, she fucked you, pointed at every camera, every producer. I wanted nothing to do with this. Yeah. I wasn't trying to get in the middle of this drama. I just wanted to fucking sing a song. I didn't want anything to do with this bullshit. I'm going to go ahead and go to Tallahassee now, which is where I was headed after that show. And good luck. Like, I wanted nothing to do with that shit.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
The
whole premise for that show is pretty pathetic.
I say all that to say, like, I do respect Survivor and how they do it. Amazing Race, I think it's cool too, because there's a point to it.
For sure.
Absolutely.
The Bachelor thing, not my cup of tea.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my wife watches it. I've watched it. Like, just seems like, all right, let's get these guys and girls liquored up and let's see how much drama we can possibly create. And that's all it is.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
Fucking America loves it.
It gets ratings, but
Guilty pleasure TV for most people.
Survivor is awesome, though. I agree. That's one of the few reality shows. I hate reality TV personally in general, but like that show I've watched for years and years. I mean, I think there got to be like 40 seasons
50,
in.
50's coming up.
Yeah.
See, I mean, and anybody who, sustains that long.
Yeah, for a show to run that long, it's got to be
pretty damn good.
Probst is probably a big part of that. The producers, they've done a hell of a job on that show because it's a crazy concept.
Yeah.
But it's pretty badass. I mean, it was fun. It was a good adventure.
So I know you did some work as in the pit crew with a couple race teams. I was just at the Nashville race, and we were happened to be right behind. We were in the infield right behind Blaney's pit. So it was cool to see. That was the closest I've ever seen to the team celebrating a win.
Didn't you drive the pace car?
I drove the pace car.
Oh shit!
That's awesome. I saw Chase and Blaney right before during people introductions, driver introductions. And that was just cool. Like it's fun to see.
What's it like being in the pit when you win one?
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, because all that work goes into it. Everybody's celebrating, high fiving. We're going to victory lane now, and we're gonna celebrate there. It was cool to still see that because I've known Blaney a long time, and I was talking to Chase and Blaney before. And at some point, does it get old winning and stuff like that? And I saw Blaney after in victory lane, and it didn't seem like the pit crew guys were all
they're
going
pretty
nuts
stoked.
and
Yeah.
celebrating. And there's a lot of
popping
work that goes
bottles.
into it.
Like
So
it was,
makes sense they'd still be fired up.
It was cool. I told my wife, I was like, I've been around a lot of sports stuff. I was in Pasadena when I'm an Alabama guy, so we won the national championship in 2011. I was at the Rose Bowl for that, and then I'm a Cardinals fan as well. I played in the Cardinals organization for a couple of years when I got out of college, and I was in the same year there for the 2011 World Series when David Freese went crazy.
Oh yeah,
and he
went off,
bro. It's so hard. People that aren't athletes or never really, they don't understand how much it takes to win a race.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Everybody, how many drivers go the whole year don't win a race? How many drivers go 5 years and never win a race?
Right.
There's plenty of drivers that never win a race.
Right. Yeah. And I mean,
still great drivers. But
it's just so much work, and then it's cool to see it pay off. It was really cool to be that close to the pit and watch those guys cut it loose.
Yeah. And I said to Katie, who was a girl that actually set up the pace car thing, my mom was there. That was cool. So I was wearing my dad's race coat.
That's awesome.
Oh, hell
he
yeah.
raced IMSA before I was born, like the 24-hour Daytona and all that.
Yeah.
So I was wearing his jacket. My mom was there. It was just a full circle moment.
That's awesome.
Like,
That's
this
cool.
is cool. My dad would be proud of this. Driving the pace car around, and go in, and we ended up watching the whole race. But I turned to Katie with 70, 80 laps left. I said, if Blaney doesn't do something stupid, this race is over.
Yeah.
I mean, he's consistently just.
Well, that track too is
Extended
it's a
that
get
lead.
out in front and
Yeah.
win the racetrack.
And I was glad to see him pull it off.
Yeah, it was
He's
awesome.
by far the best race car.
For sure.
Yeah.
When you, how did you get into pit crew? Because I went to UNC Charlotte, and like my junior year, I think they actually came up with like a program, and you could go there to major in pit crew. And like a bunch of my friends
What
from
year was that at?
I think it would have been like 2002.
Okay. Oh, wow. So they were doing it back then.
2003.
That's
Because
crazy.
one of my buddies I went to high school with, he played quarterback at Miami. A guy named Trey Birkland by chance. He's left tire carrier for.
I don't know.
It was a Joe
kinda
Gibbs
do feel
racing
like
team.
I'm not sure, though.
A few other guys that like played football at Charlotte Christian,
A lot
went
of
on to play at college, all went back and did that. But
Yeah.
so did you go through like that program, or you do it just
So when I
through
got
Hendrick?
there was already random, a lot of ex-athletes around.
Right.
But I think, from what I understand, we were the first full class that Hendrick brought in. Other
Gotcha.
teams might have been doing it, but we were the first class Hendrick ever brought in to just see if we could all work together and become one pit crew coming up together.
Gotcha.
So they brought in like 9, 11 guys, something
Mm-hmm.
like that. Chris Berkey was in charge of that. And he was a GA at Carolina
Okay.
when I was playing football there. And Berkey was hired as the coach to start bringing in athletes, and we were the first class that they brought in
Okay,
just to see if we could be faster. And it worked. I mean, within a few months, we had 2 guys that were already up on the Cup teams.
That's awesome.
I wasn't really committed to it because I just lost football, to the injury, and then I lost my dad probably about a year before.
Okay.
So I was just in a miserable place in life, but I was, it was a perfect job for me though. And I just didn't give it my all because I was depressed from losing my dad. I was depressed from losing football. I was living in a hotel, which sucked because they were paying us $17,000.
Oh,
Shit.
yeah.
Were you living
a
up in
year.
Sounds like minor
Concord?
league baseball.
Right.
It's brutal.
What was that?
Were you up in Concord, Kannapolis?
Yeah, we were at the suburban extended stay
Yeah,
in Concord.
I know exactly where that is.
It sucked. But so I was miserable, but I'd go home every day and write songs in the
That's cool.
hotel. Nick Covey was my roommate, and he was on the junior car forever. I'm not sure if he's still doing it or not. RJ Burnett was just on the I just saw him this weekend. I can't remember what car he's on now. But Nick hated me.
Really?
Absolutely hated, because he'd have to come home and listen to my dumb ass try to play songs. And I wasn't that good at that point, but I was writing my first record that I ever put out years ago. It's not available anymore, thank God. But yeah, and eventually it turned into us just starting to all finally became friends. I finally got accepted into the group because I let down my walls. I'm like, I stopped being mad at the world. Started accepting. I'm in NASCAR now. Like, if you're gonna do it, be good at it. So I started practicing, putting in the time, and I started becoming pretty good at it.
And I didn't realize y'all have like coaches and stuff.
Yeah,
like pit crew coaches.
Practice every day. We did our first pit stop ever was first day of practice, and they said, "All right, get on the wall. You're here. You're here." I was a jack man. Go ahead. We're just like, we have no idea what we're doing. Yeah. He said, "I just showed you. Go ahead."
Wow.
And we did like 2 minutes of like, here's the basics.
Right.
And he did a pit stop. I think it was like 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Dang.
He just wanted to prove a point.
Right.
Yeah.
And then within like 2 weeks, we were doing sub 15-second stops, and then we got down to
Fine-tuned
like
machine.
10 to
Well, it makes sense
13
to
seconds.
use athletes, honestly. Like when you said that earlier, I was like, "Damn, that makes sense." I mean, because you need an athlete in those positions.
Yeah, I mean, if you're
realistically,
why would you not go get guys that can't play in the league anymore?
right?
There's one guy I went to high school with. His name was Mike Metcalf. Just beast of a football player. His sister played WNBA. Like just crazy athletic family.
Yep.
Went and played college ball. Got injured, I think, and just a beast of a man. And he's the fuel guy. And makes that thing look like a toothpick.
Yeah.
And I've tried to pick one of those things up before.
Manhandle that
heavy as
fuel
hell.
tank.
Yeah.
It's cool. So you're right. It makes sense.
What does one of those pull weigh? You might know.
I don't know.
I bet it's
I never
fucking
did it.
I assume it's
Real heavy.
real heavy.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
real
a lot of
heavy.
fuel.
And they get real light real quick. Those things pump out some fuel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of, you look down pit road, it's all ex-athletes. I saw Rocco. He was on the 5 car when I was training. It was funny because we were the little peons.
Right.
And just in there trying to figure it out. And then the Cup guys would come down and do their practice, and we'd have to move their tires for them, wear their little bitches. And it was a fun dynamic. It was like you're back on a real team again.
Well, it's a team, yeah.
They'd come in and just treat us like dog shit.
Right.
But that's the way it works.
Like freshman hazing.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, these fucking guys.
Every sport's got it.
And then all of a sudden you get up to their level and they start looking at you a little different, like, shit.
Yeah.
He's younger and faster than
Yeah.
me.
Right. Yeah, feel a little threatened.
Coming from the football background too, you're probably used to getting called maggot or some fucking terrible shit.
Way worse than that. Yeah, it was. You got a thick skin. Who cares?
Yeah.
Just be better.
It's good for you.
Yeah, I'm sure you get asked this a lot, but I feel like I was around watching it happen. But you're one of the writers on one of the biggest country songs, if not the biggest song of all time in country music history. Yeah. We were on tour with FGL and Jake Owen. It's the only time FGL was ever opening for Love and Theft.
They opened. They were first.
They were first,
Yeah.
and like during that tour, because I remember I was here one night. And I went out into Tyler's truck with him and listened to it. And I guess y'all had written it the day before or that afternoon. It was just the work tape. And I was like, back to what you were saying earlier. Like, we were already on tour. Like, we had a career. And now I see this new young duo coming up. And again, I was guilty of like not rooting for them because we're on tour. They're opening for us. And I'm seeing this. Like, we've just been on radio tour for a year and a half. It took us a year to get a song up the chart. And that single broke every record and just started flying up the charts. And I was jealous. I was upset. I was like,
imagine trying to get in the way of that. Like,
you can't.
It
would have been stupid
freight
to try.
train.
Yeah.
Good luck. You're gonna die.
Yeah.
If you jump in the way of a freight train and try to stop it, you're gonna be the one that's gonna die. And that's a perfect example of like.
And this song had so much crossover, man. Like when the remix came out with Nelly, like I'm a DJ, bro. Like that's awesome.
Good old Jesse.
Yeah. That's it.
That's awesome.
awesome.
That's a work tape. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember like on that tour, like we'd sing our number one we had at the time, Angel Eyes. People are singing along, and I go out there to watch them before us, and the entire room is just on their feet, erupting, singing every word at the top of their lungs. And I was like, man, I can't hate on this. Like it's crazy. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, I know Jesse a little bit. And I'm good buddies with Taylor Phillips and run around with him a lot. And
Carolina guy.
Yeah, and I was managing TC Group back pre-pandemic, and Taylor came in during the day, and there's probably 30 people like in Tequila Cowboy, the bottom floor, and Taylor got up and played Hurricane, and then Jesse got up, and there was like a couple customers were like, who is that guy? And I was like, he's one of the writers of Cruise. And then like 30 people just appeared out of nowhere and like pressed up against the stage. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, I mean, realistically, like you said earlier, dude, it's definitely the biggest country song of the last 25 years.
Yeah. I mean, it's broken all kinds of records. I mean, there's not really anything that's done what that did, right?
During all that, I know it held a record for something on the charts, but then it went from buying songs on iTunes, like buy 99 cents to
because streaming wasn't as
now it's
prevalent when that song.
But for the era that it came out in, there's nothing bigger.
No,
but that's also what created for me. Well, shit, I live with these guys. I want to do that.
Yeah,
when you've only written 30 songs in your life and you're just learning to play guitar 3 years prior to that, it's like, I guess this is what I'm gonna do.
Right.
So I try not to look back on that time and be like, I look at some of those songs and I'm okay with saying a lot of those songs back in that time for me in my life were fucking average to below average to bad. Some of them are real fucking bad.
Well, you're an athlete, dude. You get better. You practice.
You hope.
Yeah.
And that's where, for me, I found a formula. Me and Oscar Charles, like, I've never had a guy that kind of took me under his wing.
Really?
In music. For me and FGL, it was competitive.
Right.
It was... I actually loved seeing them blow up. I genuinely can say I look back on that, I was really fucking happy for those guys. That wasn't reciprocated.
Right.
Whether they felt it or not, they sure as shit didn't show it.
Yeah.
So my crew of guys fell apart. They went away.
Right.
They didn't help me become a better artist after their success started, which is okay. Mm-hmm. They sure would have felt good if they would have, but What it did do was make me go on my own. But then I kept trying to chase that. At that point, I was just trying to chase what was popular, whether it was FGL, then following them was Sam Hunt.
Right.
I think Morgan was probably the next one after that.
Yeah.
That really like blew. Or
Took
Luke,
off.
Luke Combs.
Yeah, Luke and then Morgan. Riley now.
Riley's a
Yeah.
big one right
Yeah.
now. And with Cowboys and Go Down Singing, 2000, I'll do it in years, 2010 Cruise, 2020 Drinking Beer, Talking God, Amen. That was, I had no idea what I was doing. I was
Right.
chasing what was popular. Drinking Beer, Talking God, Amen was a really cool bookend to that part of my life and career because it was like, all right. And it ended with the way it started, which was FGL.
Right.
Yeah.
From
Was Eyes on You before that or after that?
Eyes on You was right before Drinking Beer,
Okay.
Talking God. I think those were
And those are both number one, right?
back to back.
Yeah.
I think they went back to back number one. I don't remember. But 2020 to 2025, that's when Cowboys Go Down Singing and now Eldora, Appalachia. So I'm 4 or 5 years into, in my opinion, my actual career.
Right.
Wow.
Like, I don't understand why. I don't know. I guess there's a shelf life on this shit,
Yeah.
according to some people. But
I guess it depends on who you ask.
I'm 39. Like, if I end up doing this till I'm 65 years old, I'm just getting started.
Yeah,
That's
right.
crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand why people try to just explode like Bailey Zimmerman. He's a young guy up.
Yeah.
Strike. You got to strike while the iron's hot, absolutely. But he's also got more figured out than I did.
Yeah.
So go hammer. But at the same time, I don't know. Everybody's just in a hurry to find.
Well,
the
those
next
guys are like
biggest
social
thing.
media, you know, like his TikTok, and you know, he's that generation of musician.
Which is accept it. You better if you fight that.
I mean, it is what it is. I personally, I'm not a fan. You know, like of the. It's like when Church said, he's like, we got a bunch of guys running around that got #1 records and they can't even sing on the record. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
It's done both. It's brought up some bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's also brought in some great artists.
some
like,
good.
You know,
Yeah.
Zach Bryan. I mean, he would never
Right.
have without
Social, yeah.
social media blew him up. Here's where everybody doesn't think about it. They think about, well, it made this artist this, it made this artist that. If they've only been around 3 years, how do you fucking know what it made them?
Right.
It blew them up.
Yeah.
But
Where does this end? Where does
if
this go?
If 2
Yeah.
years from now they're gone, we're not even thinking about them anymore.
Yeah.
So the way I'm just trying to make every record better.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to become better at my craft as I go. And the one thing Oscar and I've done a really good job of, that's what I was kind of saying earlier, I forgot to hone in on that thought, was like he's the first guy that's kind of, I wouldn't even say taking me under his wing because we did it together.
Right.
We just met at the right time. Church and Jay Joyce.
Yeah.
They go together
Absolutely.
Yeah.
perfectly. Oscar's my guy.
That's cool.
And we figured out our formula, which is write songs on a guitar. Don't write the tracks because that's not what I'm good at. So write songs on a guitar, no click. We did live bands for my last 2 records. This Eldora record, we did the one take.
Nice.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
everything was one take. Me singing into a microphone kind of set up like this, 2 microphones with a guitar, sing into it.
It's awesome.
Once you get the right, so you can't tune vocals that way because you're playing guitar. It's
Yeah.
like, it's all I had to learn.
Raw,
It. If it's a little, the whole record's like, and then the next day we'd add bass and drums, add other stuff as we go. But the whole record, because it was all live takes, one takes, is like feels like it's about to fall apart at any moment.
Yeah.
Little pitchy, nope, he's back in.
Right.
Just a weird sound on a vocal, well, he's back in somehow.
Well, that's how they used to make them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And it feels like it's about to fall apart at any moment, and it never really does.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a cool ass album.
I enjoyed for that very reason and the rawness of it. I personally think that just oozes authenticity.
Yeah.
It's you who you are. I think one thing I've noticed and always appreciated about you from the beginning of your career is I guess on the songwriting side of it, and, you know, the bro country era and then what you did before that and then after, I would still argue that you've stayed incredibly consistent. Like sound wise, I have so many friends in this business that have just, Morgan's the big thing right now, I'm chasing that sound, or Chris Stapleton is this,
Yeah.
I'm going that route. And I think you've kind of just, you picked a lane and you've stayed in it. And I think it's, you know, says a lot about you and just your commitment and your, you know, dedication to this business and music in general. Because
I take it seriously because I love it.
you can tell.
And now I'm good at it.
Yeah.
Before I wasn't. Why would I be? I was brand new to it.
Yeah.
And you have other people to make you sound good, or you know, I remember DeStefano on Ready Set Roll. We were singing something, and I'm singing into autotune,
Right.
and I thought, oh my god, I sound awesome. I didn't know I was singing in autotune.
Right.
And then I would hear something back and be like, wait, why was that off? Because he turned the tuner
Right.
off or whatever. Be like, I got it. Tune it up, and we're good to go. But that didn't make me better.
Right.
It took me a while to figure out, you know, how to put the pieces around me.
Yeah, that shit makes you a lazy singer, to be
I was
honest.
about to say it's a Band-Aid, you know.
It is,
Like,
but I didn't even know the Band-Aid was
Right.
that. I thought it was good. And then I go to sing it live. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
But I've gotten a lot better, you know, over the years, and Oscar's been a massive, massive part of that.
I think finding a producer that you're true partners with is so important because, I mean, I do a lot of production work, and a lot of times you'll have this new young artist that comes in and just basically is looking at you wide-eyed,
They have
like,
no
make me
idea.
famous,
Yeah.
like, make me sound good. And now all of a sudden, it's not a collaborative effort at all. It's basically me taking what I think this person I barely know should sound like because of what I know of what sounds good on the radio.
Yeah.
I'm doing a disservice to this person, in my opinion. And a lot of these meetings I'll take, I'm like, dude, you have no clue what you want. Come back to me in 6 months once you have sat down and at least thought
gotta
about
have a
it.
clue, man.
Like, I don't even think you want to do this. Your mom's paying for it and drove you out here. Like, come on, this is a big deal
Figure
here.
this
Like,
fuck
don't
out.
waste my
Yeah.
time and yours.
Hannah McFarlane's one that I really appreciate because she, man, I wrote with her first.
Yeah.
Her and I wrote with Corey Asbury.
Love him, by the way. And I don't know her, but I'm such a huge
awesome.
fan of her voice. But,
Well, I love I'd seen some videos of her with other artists popping up. I think
Yeah.
Riley was one of the
Right.
artists. She sang with him at the Opry.
yes.
yeah,
Maybe.
I think so, yeah.
But I just kept seeing her everywhere. So I was like, yeah, that's right. We wrote, and she gave a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, she really cared. First of all, she was a good writer, great singer.
Yeah.
And she really cared. Like, we honed in on every word. And I'm just
Wow.
like, fuck, Hannah, I mean, it's thee or them. Like, what do you, I don't give a shit. Just pick one. But she cared.
Yeah.
And that to me is like, yeah, get out the way. Because
Yeah.
she's going to figure it out. But she doesn't know her sound yet. Like,
Right.
I don't know if you, I mean, I'm sure some people can go figure out their sound and just go for it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I
she's
think
in-
there's, I personally can think of 3 producers that would absolutely just be perfect for her.
Yeah.
Just based off of, like, I think she was on stage here at Losers one night. I had forgotten something in here and came back, and I literally walked out of that door right there, and I heard her voice, and I was like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
Went around the corner, she's got just that cool little cry when she goes from her falsetto into her full voice. I was like, there's nobody in this town that can do that.
Nails the
like,
pitch,
that
too.
well. And it's perfectly on key every time.
Yeah.
She plays the guitar well. Like, she's beautiful. She's the whole package.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I think she will be an absolute superstar if
I hope so.
she figures out, like you said, what that sound is and is paired up with the right person.
Yeah, she's got to figure it out with the right person, and that's
Yeah.
up to her. But she'll figure that out.
Yeah.
Megan Maroney's one that she opened for John Langston at
Yeah.
University of Georgia, and
Yep.
I went in on my tour bus, texted John. Don't know how all that happened, but all I was thinking was, "You're playing a sorority party at Georgia. I'm bringing my bus." Years ago. Now I wouldn't do that.
Right.
Kind of past that point when I like to go to a college party. But I rolled in. Afterwards, she opened for him. She's singing covers. Afterwards, I'm like, she's smoking hot. Hell yeah, let's hang out. We're all hanging out on the
Right.
bus. Not like that. Group of people.
Right.
And I'm hitting on her friends. I'm just having a blast with a bunch of college chicks. And we all ended up going to dinner that night, and we're drinking at the bar, hanging out. And I said, I'll tell you what, I'm playing Georgia Theater in 2 or 3 weeks. If you write a song between now and then, I'll let you open for me. But you got to write a song, because she'd never written a song before.
Wow.
She wrote it. I don't know if she sent it to me. I can't remember, or she just played it live that night. But I remember thinking, damn, this is good. And then she kept writing and sending me stuff. And I was just like, I think she sent me stuff. But I kept hearing it somehow. And I was just like, God dang, Megan's good. My dumb ass should have signed her to something.
Right.
Yeah.
I look at it, I'm like, it wouldn't happen the way it has if I would have done that. I would just got in the way, because I'm not passionate about that.
Right.
I just want her to. She got her person, Christian Bush.
Yeah.
If I would have been the person that tried to take her under, it would have never happened.
Right.
Because I don't care. She found the right person, to get her where she is now, and look what's happening.
Yeah,
So
it's
she
pretty
figured out
cool.
a Christian help is a
Yeah.
big part.
And
of
even
that,
that, like that's not, you know, a partnership that I would have just dreamt up in my own mind.
Yeah.
Just knowing what they've done and what the other stuff I know he's worked on.
Christian and Megan.
Yeah.
I would have never.
But then
thought
for
of that.
the two of them to get together like that and it
Yeah.
just be perfect. And I mean, it's like catching a lightning in a bottle, I guess.
Yeah.
Just
I told her within the last 6 months, I was like, or maybe last year or whatever, I was just kind of messing around with her. I was like, God dang, I should have signed you to a publishing deal way back. And she said, I still own my publishing. I was like, you
Wow.
lucky
her.
bastard. Oh,
But pretty cool. You encouraged her you to start writing. You know, like
Yeah,
that's pretty awesome. I mean, look where it's led her.
you could tell right away. I mean, she wrote her first song, whatever it was. I couldn't even tell you. I want to text her and figure out what it was.
Yeah.
did she
But
end up coming and playing that song
She
with
played
you
it
at Georgia Theater?
that night,
That's cool.
and it was good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
could tell she was good.
That's
But
awesome.
That's really cool.
That's a lot of money. Was it Toby Keith that owned a bunch of Taylor
Yeah.
Swift stuff?
Yeah.
Could have had that story.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh well.
Well, you, if I remember correctly, you owned your publishing on Cruise, right?
Cruise, yeah. I still own
Still
my
do?
publishing on Cruise.
That's incredible.
and now I'm independent, so I own all my records.
Wow.
Hell yeah.
Supposedly that makes you a lot of money. I haven't
Supposedly.
been in it long enough that independent
Right.
to know, but yeah. And it's like if you don't have the machine working for you,
Yeah.
can it blow up? A lot of time it doesn't. You know,
No.
Zach's a
Well,
pretty rare example of that.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
Trust me, we're trying to do it independent.
Yeah.
And there ain't shit blowing up. So
I haven't had a song blow up in 4 years. So in my opinion, though, I feel like I'm still building a foundation of like, okay, this is who this guy really
Yeah.
is, and I'm just being myself. So if something blows up,
yeah.
that'd be nice.
Well, even Steve and I, it's just we're still playing shows, we're still writing, we're still
Yeah.
putting out records,
Still doing it.
Still doing it.
Yeah.
And you know, I've said this a few times on here. It's like it's the only business where like literally your biggest and most crazy, wildest dreams are literally a day away, phone call away,
Oh,
a
yeah.
song away. And I think that's why I love it so much still.
Yeah.
And I also enjoy this aspect of it, the podcast part, talking to friends, people I've
Yeah.
played with for years, but then. You know, I've experienced some wild shit on the road, some shit I regret, some shit I'd love to be able to do again. And
Hell
it's
yeah.
fun to just
All of
relive
it.
those moments and talk about it. And
It's a crazy life, man. Like I remember I rode in a FCA camp, I think it was, or Athletes in Action. I can't remember which one. So where you see yourself 5, 10, 15 years. 5 was I want to play in the NFL. I have this in my Bible still.
really,
I want to see myself. I want to play in the NFL. 10 was I want to become a country music singer. I'd never written a song at that point. Like that was just like, when you're a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up an astronaut?
Yeah.
Like it was for some reason I put
just
that
that
in
harebrained
there.
thing you just threw on there.
Yeah, and then 15 was I want to be. I want to have a family.
Wow.
And so I guess the only thing I haven't done left on that is the family part. But
Yeah.
I got a niece and 3 nephews, so they're fun for now.
That's where I'm
Scratch
at.
that
My wife's got 3 sisters, and they've all had babies in the last 5 years. So we now have
Yeah.
4 little kids running around every family, and I spend all my time with the kids.
Yeah.
They like me better than the adults.
And your uncle?
Yeah, I'm the uncle. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah, it's great.
You got a nephew, right?
I got a niece and 3 nephews.
Niece and 3 nephews.
Yeah.
How many siblings do you have? Just a brother?
I got 2 older brothers.
2 older brothers?
Yeah,
That's what
so-
really got me to the point where I was like, I really want kids, was spending time with my nieces and nephews. And then
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
side of that is that my niece, her dad's not much in the picture, so she really gravitates toward me. And I never wanted a girl, and always was like, I don't want girls, I want boys. And now I'm like, man, having a daughter would be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I never
It'd be
wanted a
terrifying,
daughter, but man,
terrifying, but be pretty cool.
being around my buddies' daughters at duck camp, my niece, watching her grow up.
Yeah.
Man, they're just the cutest little things. It's, I'd be okay with a daughter.
Yeah,
now.
dude,
I'll
they're-
probably end up with 16.
I think I'd just be too
Joke on
overprotective.
me, but-
So God knew that and blessed
Yeah.
me with 2 boys.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to raise them to be respectable and treat little girls
Yeah.
with respect. And that way I only have to, raise 2 boys to be respectful, not beat the shit out of all
the boys,
20 that
yeah.
are going to try to date my daughter in high school.
Yeah.
I'd like to, I guess I should start with just one, whatever that
Yeah.
looks like.
Yeah.
But we'll see what that looks like. That's the one thing left in life I'm still pretty close on.
Yeah. You single at the moment?
Yeah.
Dating anybody?
Yep,
Yeah.
just figuring it out. I'm trying to figure out this new way of life that I'm living in. And I think it's smart for me to just keep doing this.
Doing that before you bring somebody else into it. It's probably, I agree. I think it's.
And it'll probably change who I end up with. And I've had this conversation with even ex-girlfriends, like where they notice a change in me, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm still figuring this shit out. Let's hold off on any more conversations about it. I'm just trying to be the best version of myself, and I promise you I'm gonna screw that up every now and again, but I also keep trying to go down that road and keep just trying to be better.
Well, I think that's an amazing place for you to be, and I think some woman's going to be very lucky to end up with you. I mean, especially having your life figured out. And I guess we never have it figured out, but if you're at least on that path trying to be the best version of yourself, whoever that is, she's going to benefit from that probably more than anybody.
I think so, for sure. I mean, I've waited this long. Now when I do it, it's like, let's do it right.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's really
I've
smart.
avoided my first divorce. There's a lot of people saying, like,
I did that too.
Let's just make sure that doesn't happen.
When do you think about releasing this next stuff?
I think September 19th. I'm not sure yet. We dealt with mastering this week, so as long as we can get that all turned in the right way, I'm going for September 19th. I'm also meeting with labels. I'm trying to figure out, do I want to put this out independently?
Yeah.
My ideal situation would be, it's kind of funny. It's like, if none of the labels bite and none of them are, then I don't have to make a decision, and I can keep moving forward with my plan. Then at least I've done my due diligence.
I also think you're in a cool position career-wise where you've built this very independently.
Yeah.
You can still keep riding this roller coaster, and if they
song,
want to come along and do a little label services deal and help push it.
My biggest thing I don't think I would give up my masters. Like, y'all don't deserve that, man.
No,
you do not. And I don't think any artist should ever again. What world do you take a loan and give up everything to take that loan?
Right.
It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, this is the only business you do that in.
It's the only business, and it's wrong. I mean, I take this not that big of a loan, call it $1 million, and that's a lot of money to a lot of people. I understand that. That's a lot of money to me. But in the grand scheme of the money coming in,
in this business, it's pennies.
Yeah. So you take $1 million loan, and all of a sudden, they recoup on all that first, and then after that, you make 10%.
Yeah, I think our deal at Sony was 13%, and at Lyric Street it was 9%.
What did you fucking do to earn that? And I would look at every label head in this fucking town and say that. It's not personal, but that's fucking horseshit.
It's bullshit. Yeah, we've had some other guests on, and this, me being not an artist, this blew me away how little you guys make off your records and in streams and everything else. I was like, what? Like, this is crazy. Like, they've ruined it. Like,
and I guess that's the formula you have to do to become the next Morgan Wallen. I don't know. No, it's not. Zach Bryan just proved that.
Yeah.
And what did he sell his catalog for? That he owns?
Yeah.
300 and something million?
Yeah. Insane.
Crazy.
Good for fucking you. I'm fucking happy for
that's generational wealth right there.
Absolutely. You fucking earned that.
Yeah, you just changed generations of your family's life.
There's no label head that deserves that.
No.
And
I think these label heads and these labels presidents that are sitting up in New York City and LA, it's like I think they know that, and they obviously know these artists are right brain people that are creative, that are not business savvy. So they're first of all taking advantage of the fact that they have no business. What's the word? Business sense, I guess. I mean, they're raking them over the coals and saying, well, you got to sign this or you're never going to make it. And I'm guilty of that. I signed 2 god-awful deals. I mean, Steven and Brian all did. Yeah. Just to try to get our foot in the door. And our producers were telling us, no, we can't renegotiate this. You don't want to go back to them because then they're going to drop. They're not even going to be interested in signing you. There's these other groups that are new, and we got to get this deal out. And Lady Antebellum's about to release their first single. We got to get ours out before them. So you got to sign this deal right now. So we did it. And just totally fucked ourselves for the rest of our career. And then we'd sign another shitty deal. It was better than the Lyric Street deal, but it wasn't much better.
That's just the way it is.
And I didn't know any better. I did it because I was told that was what I was supposed to do.
Yeah, I mean,
which is my own fucking fault. Like,
if the
I should have known better.
Job and blows you the fuck up, you're gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah,
you are, but they're still making more than they should.
Yeah,
all because they gave you a good loan.
But then, same token, I mean, I'm grateful for those opportunities, and I wouldn't have what I have now if it wasn't for that. But then it's hard not to think, well, how much bigger could that have been, or if they and our staff, RCA, would have actually put a single out sooner than 12 weeks after the first one. Like,
Yeah.
Hindsight's always 2020.
The Masters, I don't think people realize how much those Masters can be, though. If you stack 10 albums and they do pretty damn good, that is a piss load of money.
It is.
That's my biggest problem. I understand they're working, they're blowing it. Luke Combs isn't as big of an artist if he didn't have the label that got him there. I understand that, and there's a lot of people that worked. I use him as an example. There's a lot of people that worked to help him get there. Along with his crazy natural talent. Same time, why I don't know if he owns his masters, but he should at least have half of them.
Yeah,
he did it.
Yeah,
you didn't fucking write those songs.
Yep. And at that point, the 360 deal actually makes more sense to me. Give me my masters, then take a piece of everything that I'm doing while you're doing this for me.
Go ahead.
And then when I'm done working with you, then I get that back and I can give it to somebody else.
Yeah.
But then I still can actually, at the stage we're at, it's like, it doesn't matter how much recorded music we put out there. That's not making us hardly anything. We have to have songs out there, though, to play the live show. Yeah. But I
love the idea. Split masters, 360, true 360. Split everything.
And I told Steven, I was like, if we go to another deal with somebody, that's how we should present it to them.
Yeah.
And because we're still active, we're touring, and that seems to make sense. And then they share in whatever success we have while we're working together.
Yeah.
Not
it should
10 years from now when you're doing nothing.
At the very least, down the middle.
Yeah.
I get, to me, that, we maybe just be banging our heads against the wall because that'll never happen. But everything's negotiable.
It is.
If an artist, that's why I would encourage any artist, if you've not signed a deal, wait. I'm not saying don't sign a deal. It's different for every single artist, but you wait and you build a little momentum and you have something to bring to the table, the whole conversation's different.
Yep.
Yeah, you need some
and
leverage.
It's about what do you want. If you really want to be famous and that's what you're doing it for, I wouldn't listen to anything else I have to say.
Right.
I'm a horrible person to listen to.
Yeah.
But if you want to create the music that you want to create and have
make a good living,
artistic integrity
and some longevity, career-wise,
and some longevity with that, I would wait.
Yeah.
And make the music that you want to make without some dude in your ear telling you.
And I do think right now in the music business as a whole, it's the best time to do that because there's so many different outlets to get your music out there. There's so many different label services, marketing companies that are functioning as labels. Management companies are basically record labels now. So, there's so many different ways to skin a cat. Back then, there might have been, but I just thought there was one way to do it. You had to go to a radio tour, had to get a song on the radio.
There definitely
had to have a
wasn't
label.
as much back then, for sure. It's wide open now.
And granted, the people we had surrounded ourselves with, our team, was driving us in one direction. And if we wanted to get off that path,
your team
wasn't
also
gonna
wants
end well.
to succeed, too.
Yeah.
Like a parent, they don't know what the fuck they're doing all the time, but even though they act like the management and everything, it's like, they just want you to blow up so they can also be a great manager.
Exactly. That's very evident, especially after the fact when you look at it. It's like if the song doesn't do anything, it's your fault as the artist because you should have written a better song. You should have picked a better single. But if it does really well, goes number one, well, you couldn't have done this without the promo staff at the label. So they take all the credit for that, for the success. But then when you crash and burn, it's your fault. So, most businesses are that way.
He just didn't have it.
Yeah. But then they go to another label, and then all of a sudden he's got it, and they blow him up. So obviously it wasn't his fault. And it's all about timing, and I think we're all victims of circumstance. So,
Tom Brady probably doesn't win 7 Super Bowls unless he gets drafted by the Patriots.
Right. Yeah.
Last question for you: how do you feel about Bill Belichick being the the coach of your old team?
I love it.
Yeah.
I first of all love it mainly because, just think about it realistically. Carolina hasn't been great in football in 25 years.
Yeah.
So what the fuck do we have to complain about?
Yeah.
You got the greatest coach in the history of the game, according to a lot of people. What's wrong?
Yeah.
What else do you want?
The thing they're hating on him the most for is his girlfriend.
His hot 25-year-old girlfriend running around.
Apparently. I don't know if any of that's real. It's all, who gives a flying fuck? We haven't played a snap yet.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. As soon as we start playing football, that's when people are really going to see what's going on.
And I think it's amazing for the program. It's amazing for the school.
Absolutely.
I think it's fantastic.
And I can honestly say, I can't wait to watch North Carolina football this year, and I haven't said that in my lifetime.
Hey, there's a lot of people that have never said that.
And why and who are we as a program to sit here and say we deserve something?
Yeah.
All we've done since I've been there, in my opinion, and some other teams could argue with me on this, but I've been through it, so I've seen it. North Carolina has been historically a soft program.
Yeah.
We're soft.
For sure.
We will not be soft anymore. I know that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're going to win all these games, but we will be a tough fucking team, and I respect that more than anything. Like,
Oh, yeah.
toughen the fuck up.
And it'll start up front in the trenches because he will build an offensive line and a defensive line first. And that's how you win. In my opinion, that's how you win football games. I think if you got to start up front because none of the other stuff works if that doesn't work. I mean, you're a ball player.
Last time Carolina was like a really elite team was the late 90s under Mac Brown, and you look at the picture of their defense with Brian Simmons and Peppers was right after that. Like, they were tough as shit.
Yeah.
They were men.
Yeah.
Let's grow the fuck up
Freaks.
and be tough.
Yeah, I remember
those
going to
guys
Carolina
know
football
that.
games when Julius Peppers was on the team.
Yeah, they were tough as shit.
I remember watching him play basketball. I
They've
was
been
like,
soft, and I was part of some of the soft teams. Like
you played for Mac?
I played after Mac.
After Mac?
But it's like, man, guys, we can be tougher than this.
Yeah.
And hopefully
Who's their
Bill knows what
quarterback
he's doing.
now? Do you know?
I don't know. who our Bryce something I believe is a freshman coming in. I don't know who any of the other quarterbacks are.
Yeah.
As like alumni, do you go back and do anything with the program?
I've gone back. Yeah, try to go back every year. I didn't go back last year to a game. I'm going to the TCU game this year at home.
Nice.
So it'll be Monday.
Have you ever
night.
gone back to Chapel Hill and played a show?
Yeah, I played at some tailgates early
Nice.
on. I played the Carmichael, which is where Jordan played, the basketball arena.
Yeah.
I've never played the Dean Dome. If I ever play a stadium in my life, Keenan would be the number one that I'd want to play, or Fenway.
Fenway would be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, appreciate you
man.
coming on
Hell
today,
dude.
man.
Appreciate you coming and
Appreciate
spending
you
some
guys.
time with us, hanging out, and sharing a lot, man. It was really awesome.
Thank you for being so open and honest. It was very cool.
It's a lot easier. Do shrooms, kids.
Yeah,
Don't do drugs.
Well, I'll tell you a story after this.
just
'cause
leave
I
the
probably
hero
shouldn't say it on
doses
here.
alone.